Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter.
Hey, Danny! Hey, Danny!
What is it now, Army boys? Oh, shit!
The guy who did it, he's gone. He just disappeared.
Well, would you stick around to apologize if you shit up a bathroom this bad, Army? Goddamn honkies. They're always waiting for the black man to clean up their mess. You see, Army, same shit happened in Vietnam. The white man saw the yellow man was turning red, and so he sent the black man in to clean up his mess, Army. Oh. Well, goddamn it, Arby! I ain't doing this shit this time!
Well, why not?
Because you're doing it! Now you take this motherfucking mop and get to it!
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky! It's a bird brain! It's a plane! It's iWalter! Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Yes, it's iWalter. Apologize about that. Boy, I really got loud for a minute there. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting the latest start I've ever on a show, especially on a weeknight when I'm supposed to be going to work the next day, because it's like 20 of 4. So this one, I always say I want to make a short show, and it ends up being like an hour and a half every night so far. So tonight will be definitely short. Why I'm like so held up, and by the way, at the beginning of this show, what I had put as a segment besides that drunk girl that I was doing, I appreciate it. I think I'm getting more people from my job listening in, so hey, that's cool. Don't hear much from them, but I hear from others that, yeah, you're getting listeners from work. It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Even though I badmouth about everybody, including my parents and my friends. Anyway, that's a different story. Not what I want to talk about tonight. Hey, looking at right now, looks like there's another story about Johnny Depp getting a divorce. That's kind of weird. Yeah, so what I was doing, you know what, let me see if I can find it. It was a movie by Lloyd Kaufman. Now, years ago, I used to watch the Lloyd Kaufman films when I lived in my apartment. And, I mean, I used to rent those. That's when video stores actually still existed, which is kind of funny because you haven't heard about a video store in years, you know, VHS tapes, DVDs, blah, blah, blah. But years ago, a friend and I, my friend Matt, college buddy, we went to see a lot of really, really bizarre films. I think once in a while, we haven't done that in a while. I haven't heard from my friend Matt, hey, Walt, do you want to go to one of these, you know, marathons for really bad horror movies, you know, these exploitation films? We used to do that all the time. We used to rent all these freaking horror films that were so bad, and I used to get sick by most of them, of course. So anyway, this one was by Lloyd Kaufman. I actually did see Lloyd Kaufman, I think, more than once, but I think I actually got some pictures with him in Toxic Avenger. That's the biggest one from Lloyd Kaufman. So, yeah, it was pretty cool, too, to actually meet the man. But, yeah, I watched this movie called Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. It was in 2006. He definitely looked a lot younger. Now, that's basically Lloyd Kaufman's responsible for Trauma Entertainment. And I watched some of his specials and stuff. But, yeah, I remember the only film I actually saw of Lloyd Kaufman's in the movie theaters was down in Philadelphia. I think my friend Matt, I think he had taken me to go see it with him, was this movie called Romeo and Juliet, which, if it's true, it's kind of ironic because I think right before that I was so disappointed with that one Romeo and Juliet. I think it actually, I can't remember, I think it had, God, I can't remember. It was one I just did not like. It was like the modernized version of Romeo and Juliet. So I'm looking it up right now. But I ironically see it with my friend because I was dating my friend's sister at one point, my friend Matt's sister, years ago. And she wanted to go see that film. I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But that movie was so freaking bad. I thought it was horrendous. Like, I liked the original. Well, what's the original like? You can't say that, but I liked the one version of Romeo and Juliet. It was the only one I actually really liked, besides Tromeo and Juliet, which was a farce. But one was I'm looking at right now, I think it was the one from 1968. That one was actually pretty interesting. That director in particular, I actually liked him because I saw some other stuff he had done, or, directed, I should say. I'm trying to figure out now. I'm going to go off in a different direction. So anyway, I remember going to see the Romeo and Juliet. Maybe I should just focus on that right now. Let me see. The one that I couldn't stand because it was so bad. The person I had taken with me, I just left her there and I walked out and I came back after the movie was over. It's like, I'm not going to sit through this movie. It is so bad. It's just like it's an insult to anyone's intelligence who actually thought it was good. You know what? I can't even find that one. It's not the 1968 one. Like I said, that one was actually pretty good. I'm drawing a blank on the name because, God, it should come up right away. If you know what I should have done, I didn't expect to go this far with it. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio was in the one. That was the one I just could not stand. It wasn't anything against him because I actually like his earlier film work. I actually did like. It was 96. Wow. Yeah, that film I thought was so bad. Now, most people are saying, what are you talking about? That was really good. Now, that movie I thought was horrendous. I was asked to go see it, and again with this girl, and it was like, okay, but I couldn't even stomach about 5 minutes of the movie. I was just like, this is total garbage. So I've never done that before, but I left the girl in the movie theater and I walked out and was like, okay, when the movie's over, I'll come and get you because there is no fucking way I'm going to sit through a movie this bad. And I mean, it's like the same story just being retold in a different way. I understand, but it was like, you're not, you've already taken my money. I'm not getting that back. But you're not going to get my time. I'm going to at least keep that part of the film, so, of myself, I should say. So I did. I walked out. So, yeah. You thought I could never hit that, that I've hit an all-time low, most people who know me at work and stuff. No, I hit an all-time low years ago when I went and seen this film called Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was on a date with some girl, and I literally left her in the movie theater, and I did walk out. I said, if you want to watch this, you can, but I'm not going to sit here. And I literally walked out until the film was over. So there you go. I give myself credit for that. I actually left a girl in the movie theater because it was like, I'm not going to sit through this piece of shit. So anyway, it's not even a joke. That's the absolute truth, folks. I'm not making that one up. And it wouldn't, and people who know me would know that I would do something like that. That's just... my nature is I don't give a fuck in real life. I hate to say it. So anyway, years ago, I remember my friend Matt. He actually got me into a lot of, taught me about a lot of really bizarre movies. Ones I didn't even know it existed. So I owe Matt, my friend Matt, a lot of credit for some of these movies that I've actually. I mean, I was watching horror movies that were so horrendous when I lived in my apartment in Blair Mill apartments down in Horsham. Because I remember, again, I've said this a million times, but this is no freaking joke. I rented these films. Some guy, I actually hired him at this job. I worked at this place called Cheers years ago. It was a novelty store and not a bar. And there was one actually in Plymouth Meeting, too. So me and this one guy that I hired was like, dude, you like the same kind of films I do. So we rented all these really bad films, and it was like, dude, do you ever see that film called, which is a classic now, it is so bad, because I never laughed so hard in my life, was this movie called Flesh-Eating Mothers, because I've said that a million times. The acting was so freaking bad, it literally looked like these actors were hired off the street, and that they were actually reading their lines with the script in their hands. That's how bad it was. But they were reading the lines. It wasn't even like they were acting out the lines. They were literally sounded like, let me see, because I'll just give you an example. Here's a little brief, what do you call it? Reading from, I'm going to read something from the what is it called? Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Just pretend this is this movie called Flesh Eating Mothers, and this is how the lines were given in the film. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead is a 2006 black comedy musical horror film. That's how the film freaking won for Flesh Eating Mothers. But it was even worse than that. Like, it sounded like they were questioning what they were reading. You didn't see a script, but it looked like they actually had the script in front of them. It was so bad. But special effects were so bad that I've never laughed so freaking hard in my life. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. So, So I saw other films like that, and if you kind of like those kind of films, that's pretty much what you will find in any Lloyd Kaufman film, but it's actually the actors are much better than that. But one time years ago, I rented this film. It was like, I got to check this out, because we rented it from the video store at the time. Me and this guy, a friend of mine back then, rented this film, kind of introducing you to all the different types of really bad horror movies out there. Or actually, it might have been a trailer for another bad horror movie, because we would like just watch them in my apartment. One was like, I have to rent this. So I actually found that it was so bad. It was a movie about, again, I mentioned this probably like 5 times previously over the last year when I started doing podcasts. But it was actually called The Refrigerator. It was about a possessed refrigerator that killed people. And it was so bad, I think I actually fell asleep trying to watch it when I finally was able to rent a movie. It was that bad. So, but there was a lot of films like that. Lloyd Kaufman's films are probably just as bad. But the thing that makes his different, now, actually when I mentioned Romeo and Juliet, one thing that stuck up above the other films, I think he actually, in the Romeo and Juliet, he actually had the band Motorhead, I think, actually not only acts in the film, but actually made some of the music for the movie. So I'm going to see if I'm correct, because that was so long ago. I mean, I was in college at the time I saw that film. Let's see. And it is Romeo and Juliet. Well, the thing about Romeo and Juliet, Lloyd Kaufman's films, it's a lot of nudity and sex and everything else in those movies. So I'm looking at it right now. Romeo and Juliet was a modern punk adaptation of Shakespeare's classic, told irreverently, excuse me for that word. This film attempts to impact the viewers in the same way theatergoers were affected in Shakespeare's time: brawdy, violent, humorous, and romantic. I don't know if I would give it that kind of credit, though. But like I said, I thought that Motorhead actually, I think the band, I can't remember, because I'm looking at it now, the different people in the film. Yeah, I think it is actually. I don't know why they don't just tell you that. Because he actually, the Romeo and Juliet, some of his films, he actually gets. It's like one of those things that actors just want to act in Lloyd Kaufman's films, even though they look like something, an amateur just making his first film. Like every film of Lloyd Kaufman's is pretty much the same like that. So, they're that bad looking. Let's see, directed by Lloyd Kaufman for Romeo and Juliet. Written by him, Lloyd Kaufman. Well, that was a high. I thought I was going to say that. That was, well, no, actually it was. And the budget for that film was $350,000. Yes, it was under $1 million. All his films are like that. I'm going down the list because, like I said, I don't really know the people in the band. So, but I know Yeah. There's a song called Sacrifice. It was done by Motorhead. It says it right in there. See, I'm not really familiar with the band. I knew what the guy looked like, and he was actually in the film itself. So if you're interested, one of the probably better Lloyd Kaufman films, I would probably say Romeo and Juliet. And trust me, it was really, really bad. But I mean, if you like those type of movies, then that's a different story but that one actually, again, they got like somebody that people recognize. And Romeo and Juliet, what did that come out? Because I'm trying to look at the year that came out. 1997. Actually, God, that's funny. Because I think that's, well, let's see. Yeah, I guess that was like 10 years after I started college. Oh, no, I graduated in 86. Actually, I graduated from Monco in 97, ironically enough. So it was right when I was in the transition from Monco to Cabrini. I know I saw that with my friend Matt, though. He was already probably at Temple at that point. So, actually going to those conventions, like he'll be probably down there this year again in Philly for the comic book convention, the big one, the WizardCon. That's the most expensive one apparently this year, too. Because I've actually was reconsidering going because they keep on getting all these famous actors. Like they keep on picking up more people. Most of them end up not showing up, though, unfortunately. But he's always there. Lloyd Kaufman goes to a couple of these conventions a year on the East Coast because he technically is from the East Coast, so it's never a problem for him to show up. And especially the ones in New York and Philadelphia and New Jersey, you would be guaranteed to find Lloyd Kaufman roaming around. I think I actually saw him and her talk to you too. Like Lloyd Kaufman, people don't go up to him because they don't really know who he is unless you're a diehard Lloyd Kaufman fan. Then you see him, it's like, oh my God, it's Lloyd Kaufman. But most people don't even know who the fuck he is, so that's kind of weird. But I do from over the years. But he's like an East Coast. Is more popular, because it came from the East Coast pretty much, in my opinion. Anyway, I was watching his Poultrygeist, and I've seen, enough Lloyd Kaufman films. They're good just because they are so campy, cheesy, totally stupid, but they're good spank films sometimes for the men, I guess, us guys, because they always put some girls in there in like some in the most uncomfortable positions, like in the back of a Volkswagen. So anyway, inside joke from Mallrats. I told the one friend that I have at work named Matt, also different Matt from the Matt I knew from college that I talk about a lot. I said, dude, you've never watched Mallrats. I mean, everyone, and even people from this generation that are only getting into their 20s now, have discovered not only Kevin Smith, but they have discovered Mallrats. Now, this guy, Matt, that I work with, he actually, he's not that much younger than me. He's a little bit younger than me. And he has no fucking clue about Mallrats. It's like, dude, everybody and their mother have seen, Mallrats at least once. I mean, for Christ's sakes, my mom even, I made her watch that, though, not Mallrats, but I actually made her watch Tusk, and she actually really enjoyed it. She thought it was pretty disturbing, though. I told Kevin Smith that, too. I was like, dude, I never watched your film. I showed it to my mother, and she got freaked out by the fucking thing. So, anyway, because it was a good film, in my opinion. A different story altogether, by the way. So, I'm on a rampage tonight. I just want to get as much in the next couple minutes as I can, maybe the next half hour, and then call it a night, or call it a morning. What am I calling it a night for? By the time I get everything put together, it's going to be morning time. So anyway, Poultrygeist, it kept on coming up for the longest time because I got all these streaming accounts for Netflix, Amazon Prime, and now I actually got that one I mentioned the other day called Shudder, because it's like $5 a month. Why not have it? And you can watch it on your TV. You can watch all these classic horror movies that I mentioned before, which would even include Faces of Death, which I never got through. I kind of got grossed out by it pretty quickly, and it doesn't take too much to make me very squeamish. Oh, yeah, there was a woman in here named Kate Graham, but I heard that name before. I'm glad I saw that stick out, but I know a Kate Graham that was on this show, but she's actually a black girl who's really hot from the TV show Vampire Diaries. I actually met her. She's a very sweet girl. Yeah, her name's Kate Graham too, or Kat Graham, because she came up too. She actually did come up because their last names spelled exactly the same. Kate Graham that I knew, because they're both actually coming up. One spelled K-A-T, the other one spelled K-A-T-E. So I guess one's Kat Graham, another one's Kate Graham. Kat Graham I actually met at a Vampire Diaries convention years ago down in Jersey. I think it was Parsippany, and she was really, really nice. She was like extremely nice. But she's so tiny too. She's a little tiny thing. But I almost wanted to like grab her and take her home with me because she's like really, really small. She's really hot. So Kat Graham I did meet. Kate Graham though, she played the main character in Poultrygeist, not Poultrygeist, Poultrygeist. Now, this film, I'm surprised Lloyd Kaufman didn't get a lot of trouble for it because he also picked on himself. Obviously, Lloyd Kaufman, he's Jewish, but he picked on every nationality. He made every derogatory comment. He picked on everyone and everything in the most inappropriate way. He made the most offensive remarks in this film. I was like, dude, you outdid yourself with this film. I mean, there were some parts I was just laughing because it was so politically incorrect. I've never seen anything from Lloyd Kaufman that was really trying to push the envelope as far as he did. Anyway, it came out. The budget for that was $500,000. Now, that's the thing. I think Lloyd Kaufman, he makes films still. They're all really bad, by the way, that are all under $1 million. I mean, there has not been one film over $1 million that he's ever made. Anyway, it says Poultrygeist follows a group of consumers and ordinary citizens who were trapped inside a New Jersey fried chicken fast food restaurant. So, yeah, it's almost like Kevin Smith in some ways because most of his films are basically, circle around New Jersey and New York. So that part's kind of funny. I'm trying to look because he even picks on a girl who's supposed to be a Muslim. And, I mean, the insults were so amazing. I don't think, because this was in 2006. So, I mean, I think some of the remarks he made in this film probably wouldn't fly now because I think we're more politically correct than he was, or you couldn't get away with a lot of stuff he did in this film. I don't know how else to put it, especially the Muslim ones. They were pretty funny, but they were very, what do you call it? Probably most offensive to almost everyone. And and the girl who was a Muslim, like she was praying on the I don't know how else to put it, on the carpet, whatever you call it. Her name was Hummus. The character's name was Hummus. I mean, every name was not a regular name, depending on the character. All the characters in this film. I'm trying to look what the girl looked like in real life, because my guess is she was like pretty. You never saw her face, so you could never see what she looks like. That she's probably like in real life, she's probably pretty hot. And if I'm looking at the right picture, she actually is. And I think she is like Middle Eastern in real life, if I'm getting it right. Because I'm trying to pull up pictures of the real girl. But Lloyd Kaufman, honestly, he just really outdid himself on being as politically incorrect as he possibly could be. And I don't know if he got in trouble or not. The thing is, again, with his films is the fact that they are really, really low budget. That girl was really hot, but you never saw her face in the film. Wow. But anyway, going back to the film. Actually, I wonder if she was, I don't know. Sounds like the last name seems more Italian. I was just trying to get back because that film actually made, decent amount of money considering how much it cost. Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at some of the people on here. Caleb Emerson, never heard of him. But the one guy was Ron Jeremy. he was really funny in the film. He was in there for like a cameo, so to speak. Not that he's ever done any other films done by by Lloyd Kaufman. I'm just saying he did. Oh yeah, they even had an illegal. This is no joke. And one of the characters was an illegal a gay Mexican guy. And they played it, the actor played it up to max to make sure that people knew he was gay, the way he talked and the way he carried himself. So, yeah, everything in this film was probably, in one way or another, he made sure not to leave anyone out with racist, sexist, derogatory, inappropriate, remarks on everyone, like across the board. And even made remarks that, were definitely not only just politically incorrect, would be the least of the worries of this film. So anyway, it's hit the box office. Wow. The budget was $500,000, but it looks like it says box office. Unless that's million, I'd be surprised, but it looks like 22,623. That means it didn't even make what he put into it, I guess. So I'm sure people they're talking about it. I mean, that movie is now 10 years old, and for some reason it's just kind of resurfaced with people somehow, because I see it on Facebook a lot. People are talking about this. That's the only reason. Now, I waited so long where I could have gotten it on Netflix as part of my regular what I pay for Netflix. When I waited so long, they finally had taken it off. And some of the other streaming websites that I have memberships to, they had taken this film off. So the bottom line was, I ended up having to rent it for $4 tonight. And I wasn't too happy because the film was really bad. And it's a little bit long, too, because I think it's an hour and 40 minutes, ironically enough, because that movie I was talking about the other night was also an hour and 40 minutes. I'm trying to look at the running time because I swear that's what it was. Yeah, actually, I am correct. It was off by 3 minutes. It says running time of the film was 1 hour and 43 minutes, because I think I said an hour and 40 minutes, so I was off by literally 3 minutes. So anyway, I'm going to go back to, I did read this off my computer laptop that I record things on. I never read stories. So that's what's keeping me up tonight, by the way. The film is really bad, but I think the thing that got to me, whoops, just stepped on my mic, is the fact that the film, I mean, I don't know, I mean, God, years ago films were considered racy or you got to watch because they can be considered extremely offensive. Now, I think the only other Jewish director who really, comedian-wise, or who makes comedy movies, Mel Brooks always pushed the envelope on films. But I think it looks like Lloyd Kaufman is like, okay, I want to see how much further I could go beyond like Blazing Saddles or something like that, and History of the World, because when Mel Brooks made those movies, they were very offensive too. But he, actually, I'm trying to think. Even that one he did, the parody of Star Wars, had offensive because they had, I think, stormtroopers combing the desert with like a big pick comb that you put in your hair, or if you have hair that's a particular style, like those combs that were meant to like be picks to pick your hair if you had extremely coarse or curly hair. Well, I remember, I think that was that one. It was that Star Wars parody that he did, Spaceballs or something. I think that's what it was called. And you have like those people picking the desert with like a big hair pick that a person would put that has coarse hair. And it was like, wow, God. But yeah, Lloyd Kaufman went beyond on the inappropriate racial slurs, way beyond that. I mean, that would make what do you call it? Mel Brooks' film looked like it was a joke compared to the way he was picking on stuff. Now, Mel Brooks' movies actually make a lot more money than Lloyd Kaufman. So anyway, That was the main thing that I wanted to mention tonight. I was like, okay, I'm going to do a quick thing on that. Still have not watched the other version of The Fishman, but I kind of told you everything about that without even watching it. Now, one thing that was interesting, I'm embarrassed to say, actually, I'm not embarrassed to say, but God, I've been going wild on spending money that I don't have. And now I intend, like, we're supposed to get this bonus, and I'm already, like, spending money before I even have it in my pocket, which is the worst thing you can ever do. You don't do crap like that. So, but if you're Walter, yeah, you are going to do crap like that. I'm going to be in for a rude awakening soon, I'm sure, where it's like, hey, guess what? We changed our mind. We're not going to give you this bonus. I'll be, oh, wow, that looks pretty cool. Somebody did a thing that looks really cool on the Scream, but it's actually pretty scary looking as well. So let me see. But I bought on eBay. Now I want to buy another pair because I just got them tonight. Let me see if I can find it. It's the Alien Stompers I was telling you about. They came in the mail, so maybe I'll use that as my... I took a photo of my phone. I took one with my better camera, but if I pull the pictures off my camera, I posted those on Facebook, by the way, but if I put the ones from my camera, the resolution is going to be so high, even though I make a snapshot, it's going to have to be filtered down. So I'm putting it in eBay. Let me see if I can move my mic down real quick. I'm actually having sex with my mic right now. It's giving a blowjob because it keeps on moving on me. Oh, God, the jokes on penis jokes in that Lloyd Kaufman film was beyond what I could even imagine. They were so freaking funny, though. Anyway, yeah, I got this from a guy in New York. God, I'm embarrassed to say what I paid. I paid $820 for a pair of fucking sneakers. But I've wanted these Alien Stompers since I was 30 years ago. So what is that? Because it was 30 years last month. I'm 49 minus 30. What, I was 20 years old? I was 19 years old. Christ. God, I was young. Anyway, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to wear these. I'm going to definitely wear these once in the blue moon, but not that much. Got the shoes in the mail today, and it was like, they looked like they were really narrow, and I thought they were going to be very uncomfortable because I bought a pair before of these Alien Stompers, and they for some reason the cut I got was too narrow, like they were painful on my feet. These actually weigh light as a feather, and I got the high top Reeboks. Those were the limited edition ones. They only made so many of them. I think like 200 pair. So people bought them up. They're selling on eBay, and I paid $820 for these freaking pair of shoes, which, again, I think only select few people are allowed to buy them who got them. Tried them on. I was wearing them a little bit around the house and was like, oh, my God, if anything happens to these shoes, I will be like, I'd be petrified. Put them on. They were the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn, and they're really wild looking. Like the pictures that you see on eBay of these do not do them justice. They kind of look really goofy looking, but when you actually see them physically up close and personal, that is a whole different story. They, again, does not do it justice with the pictures. Two, they are light as a feather. I mean, literally, they are as light as a feather. They have no weight to them at all, which is kind of a little bit scary because if they're that light, you know what that means. They're going to fall apart real easy, which Reebok was years ago. They were notorious for that. Their sneakers just fell apart. But everybody liked them because the leather was so soft. Basically, it was really cheap, too. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody else is selling a pair of the Reebok Stompers, the high tops. If I bought, like, I would love to buy another pair. These are cheaper. These are $700 that they're selling for. If I could, what I would do is just keep in the box and not touch them. Okay, so actually, I don't even have to go any further. Somebody actually wrote up how many were made of the high top Reeboks. They were released last month for the anniversary date of the original Aliens film. And get this, the guy actually was smart enough in his advertisement, he put how many were released. Reebok Alien Stompers, the ones I just bought, high retro, OG, I don't know what the OG stands for. 1986 is when that film was released. So, yeah, I was 19 at the time. the 2016 Ripley high top version, limited edition to 426 pairs. Globally, there's only 426 pairs in existence. I have one of those pairs in my possession right now. Now, that's why I paid so much. Now, the price they charged you for the shoes when they put them out for that one day, which sold out in 45 minutes, they sold the shoes for no more than $200. So the markup on these are incredible. Now, you're probably saying, why the fuck, Walter, did you just pay $900, $800 for a pair of shoes? Well, it gets even worse, though. Guess what some people are selling for? Like $2,000. I'm not even kidding. They're selling those same shoes for like $2,000. Now, I've had every version that had came out since the shoes were originally released. I actually even had the original shoes when they came out as well. But again, this was years ago. I worked in Acme Market, and there was this girl there I had a big crush on. Her name was Jen. And she went to a Catholic school, but she was a real smart ass, too. She had a really big fucking mouth. But for some reason, I had a big crush on her. And, you know, God, yeah, I'm looking at the value of what they were going for. $175. They were released on April 26th of last month. And those shoes lasted no longer, you know, the entire, because they had low tops and high tops. Both the low tops and the high tops sold out in less than 45 minutes around the world. Reebok just got like crammed down when they released these shoes. Like, you can't, you know, people are trying to put their orders in, they said, and they were pissed because they kept on getting knocked off because they were sold out within 45 minutes. That is fucking ridiculous, so. But it's the God's honest truth, too. It really did. Now, they're showing the picture from the movie with the ones they never released, which now I do possess one pair of those that Sigourney Weaver wore back in 1986. And again, it says right here in this article I'm looking at, there once again, 426 of the high tops were made. These are exact replicas from the film itself of Aliens, the second movie from Alien. It says retail price $175. Now, if I would have got them at that price, I would have bought like 2 or 3 pair. But again, they sold out in less than 45 minutes. It says if they had made more pairs, like say 4,260, they would have had sold out, and there would have been celebrity YouTube unboxing snap galore. So, yeah, they limited the pairs, though, down to, in its entirety, that's why they sold out so quick, though. Let's see. What I just mentioned, that 426 or something like that, or 36. So I'm going through this one article, though, because it looks like the low tops they made more of. Yeah, so that's why the people who did get their hands on them, they're selling them for an arm and leg. Now, one website I had seen, by the way, they actually limited what you could buy. They said 1 per customer. So, I mean, honestly, they're the most comfortable shoe. I really wish they would make more, but see, that's the thing I'm afraid of right now because, trying to think of the correct terminology now. I would have definitely, because I used to wear the first time I let this girl laugh at me and make fun of me about it, but then after that, I ended up buying them years later. I was like, you know what? Who gives a fuck what anybody thinks? So I bought them, but I actually, wait a minute, I did buy them originally. I think I told the friend at work, I said I paid I think $50 or $100 and was like, God, that's expensive. I just paid $50 for a pair of sneakers that were in the movie Aliens. You're talking 30 years ago. And it was like, I thought that was god-awful expensive. Nowadays, you pay $50 for a pair of sneakers, you're buying a pair of Bobos or whatever, or what do they call those? The canvas sneakers. And those even go for $100 now. So anyway, most of the ones, they actually made limited edition alien stompers that actually came in a custom case plastic box. Those are even more expensive. And by the way, the price does not stop. This is why I bought them for $800 and didn't think twice, because here we go. Here's one of the ones to come in the limited hard case box. $2,300 for a pair of those sneakers. So other people are selling them for $1,500. One person's selling it for $1,250. These are buy now prices, $1,800 for the same sneakers I just bought, by the way. $1,300. I'm looking at all the auctions right now. Somebody's asking $1,300 or best offer. I would say, hey, what about $500? Would that be a good offer? Now, the ones they put out for the low tops, I don't like them at all. These were all limited edition, by the way, but I just don't like the look of the low tops. They made them look actually a bit different, and it doesn't look anything like the ones I have. I have every special designed. They came in blue, black at one time, gray, I think, and some other colors, and I bought every adaptation they made of them. But yeah, but these were the ones that from day one, 30 years ago, were the ones that I've been, wanting to have. So. But here's somebody else who actually has it still sealed in the package, and they're asking the ones in the plastic briefcase that comes in $2,500 for the same sneakers I just bought again. So when you see them for like less than that, it's like, well, $700-800 is a lot of money. But honestly, I think they're just as cool, if not cooler, than the Nike, because I have replicas of those. The Nike Back to the Future shoes. I actually got 3 pair of those now. But I didn't pay any more for any of them. The last pair I bought because they were really bad replicas that actually officially got released at the Halloween shop online. I got those for literally $100. I think $90 of those Nike Back to the Future shoes that were really popular. But those, when they got released for Michael J. Fox's cause, those started at $10,000, $10,000 for a pair of fucking sneakers. Can you believe that? I'm not even joking, by the way. That's what they were asking. Yeah, here's somebody who's asking $775, free shipping from New York. Like I said, if I could afford to buy another pair, I'm going back, by the way, to the Alien Stompers. If I could get one other pair that I would not fucking touch forever, I would do it. It's just the prices are a little steep. I mean, again, you're talking another $800 in addition to the $820 I just spent. So, and I got them because I figured, well, the guy had 100% rate in the person selling them, for one thing. Two, they were coming from New York, so I knew they were going to come like next day delivery practically, and they did. So I only ordered another day. I was like, okay, I got to get these. I don't need to get them. It was just something for like 30 years now I've been trying to track these down. I've done that with a lot of collector's items, like, because I'm like big into obviously science fiction and horror movies, and I eventually find almost everything. Like as a kid, it's like one of these things you can't afford this stuff when you're a kid, but when you're a grown-up, you still can't afford it, but you have the capability of getting a credit card to pay for whatever you want, and that's what I do. So I went back, and a lot of stuff I wear and, excuse me about that, my mic just slipped, wear and buy, or stuff that it was like, okay, I couldn't afford this as a kid, or I couldn't afford it, or I couldn't find it. Especially with Doctor Who, there were certain things I wanted when I was a kid from Doctor Who. Never could find it, never could afford it. Well, now that I'm an adult, I'm going back and buying all this stuff, no matter what it is. Things I wanted when I was a kid. So, that part of my life is still going in existence, and I'm like collecting all the stuff that I would have gotten when I was a much smaller person. Well, younger person, I should say. I shouldn't say smaller, because I'm still pretty small in many ways. So anyway, on a lighter note, this is pretty weird. I have no fucking clue about this, but there was some website that went on Facebook tonight called Inverse, and it was about Captain America. I do have a Captain America shirt, too, by the way, one of those stretch shirts. Today I was wearing my Spider-Man ones. I got called Spider-Man all day. I was like, yeah, I don't quite look like Spider-Man, but hey, thanks for the compliment anyway. Or Peter Parker, I should say. Anyway, Inverse says Marvel just revealed Captain America, which I have no fucking clue what this means, was a Hydra agent all along. What does that mean? What the fuck is a Hydra agent? I have no fucking clue. Marvel Comics Captain America issue 1 hit stands this morning, igniting a controversy among fans who have taken issue with the publisher's big rival. Writing Nick Spencer portrays Steve Rogers as a double agent for Hydra, which is MCU fans may recognize as the film's magical Nazi Esquire team of villainy. So they're saying, I guess he's some type of Nazi or whatever. That's what got put out in some comic book that just came out for Captain America. I really don't know. I did like Captain America, like I said, in the Marvel universe. Yeah, the Marvel universe, Captain America is the only one I actually really enjoyed more so. I don't even like Iron Man that much. I'm not a big Iron Man fan. Ant-Man was actually really funny. But, yeah, Marvel universe I could care less about, quite honestly. Spider-Man's cool, too. I actually wanted to see the Venom fucking movie. They never fucking released it. Obviously, everybody also liked, what do you call it as well? God, I can't remember his fucking name now. God, I'm drawing a blank. The one who, the guy with the big mouth, bigger than mine, actually. Is that possible? I don't think so. Let me see if I can find it. See if I can do this. Walter, can you do this? Actually, did I get it at Best Buy, though? Maybe that's what I did. God, you know what? I don't want to go this far on, sorry, I'm trying to adjust my mic. Actually, no, did I get it? I can't remember because I order some movies from Best Buy, too, as well. I think I mentioned this before, I just reordered all those movies of Jaws. I love them all. I really do. Makes me even more of a sick fuck. Let's see. Let me go into Best Buy. See if I can do this. Wish me luck on spelling, though, because I can't spell. Even simple words. How do you spell I'm not quite sure. You might want to look up in the dictionary. Seriously, I'm a really bad speller, though. Order status, credit cards, Walter, order history, order, sign in. I think I ordered from Best Buy. I told you a couple of films I actually ordered from different places. I can't wait because that should be coming soon. April 17th is when I ordered it. Was Batman versus Superman. I never went back and watched it again as I thought I was going to do for Batman versus Superman. Oh, yeah, because I canceled it, too. I actually had the Steelbook version, and I canceled it. Deadpool, that's the movie like I was trying to think of, because that's actually part of the Marvel Universe, too. Yeah, I honestly, I don't regret watching that movie. I really liked it. I bought the Steelbook, and then I only saved like $5. If I still wanted to get it, I could. Trying to look, because I'm curious about the one girl who had the short hair in the movie. In Deadpool, because that girl, the girl with the short hair, she kind of looked like butchy kind of person. Believe it or not, she's actually a character in the comic books. I looked at when I remember it. Yeah, and that one chick was in. She's really hot too. The one chick was actually in the Homeland TV series. So, or she might still be. I forget. I was just kind of looking for that girl who had the short hair, because she looked like a boy in the film, but she was a superhero, which I don't know the whole gist behind that. If I can't find her, it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of getting on my nerves. Yeah, there's some hot chicks in that movie of Deadpool, though. And I don't know if you're one of the people, though, but by the way, they did add, I think, I think that's what happened. But if you sat through the entire credits, Deadpool does come back on. There was a little extra, which I think was added in after the fact for some reason, because I think there were some changes in that movie or whatever that they did because that movie was in the process of being made for I don't know how long. So, and then they finally okay, we're gonna make this film. Yeah, I'm trying to look for the girl with the short hair. She was actually really, really cute. But that character she plays, though, I should look up what that is too, because I think it was a character in the comics that, really never. I think it was just a short-lived character almost, or something like that. But the film actually made her a little bit more. Oh, I think she was supposed to be part of the Avengers. That character originally. Trying to think of the character she played then. Oh, Nostalgique or something. Nostalgic. Let's see if I can look that up. Gotta be an easier way to do this. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by this all of a sudden. Oh, okay, yeah. Nostalgic teenage warhead from Deadpool. I have to look up that character now, because I read up a little bit about it after it came out. I guess that girl really does wear her hair really short. I don't know why. In real life. That actress, by the way, I mean. Yeah, it says Nostalgic Teenage Warhead is a fictional mutant character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. In the comics, she is a student of Emma Frost and displays telepathic and precognitive powers. So, yeah, I knew she was from the comic books because I kind of looked it up. I might have mentioned that before a while back. So, but because it's funny because I guess everybody who did see, because it made a lot of money. Deadpool, if you notice, she does have one of the classic Avenger costumes on, from the X-Men. Because that costume was that is a authentic costume that she was wearing from the X-Men, from back with the comic books, the original comic books. So the ones that I didn't read, but I grew up with, because I noticed that right away. That was pretty clever that they did that they actually gave her, the authentic yellow and black costume. Because, again, that was the one I remember when I was a teenager, and I remember I was actually at this place called Fairmont Institute, and these guys were, really into, for some reason, they were really into, my thing was Doctor Who, but their comics that they were into were actually, what do you call it? The X-Men and Wolverine. There's this one guy, he was really heavily in the Wolverine. It was what's so special about Wolverine? And Wolverine obviously still looks quite different in the comic books that I grew up with. Never read them, but I've seen them from other kids reading them back in the day. Looked quite different than what they put out in the theaters. I mean, the actor who plays him does a really good job. But the bottom line is, the Wolverine back in the day. I mean, you're talking back in the 80s. So, yeah, what was I going to say? They actually, had that black and yellow costumes all the time. You never really had, the costumes. They kind of modernized them, obviously. They didn't stick with the whole authentic look from the original comics that, again, I consider them original because I was a kid at the time. So that's all I remember, seeing. Like, oh, if you saw the X-Men, they literally just had on that yellow and, what is it called? Yellow and black X-Men costume. All of them wore that, and then they kind of changed a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, it's just weird, and she's the only one, Deadpool especially, that actress actually wore an authentic X-Men costume. So they don't even explain that she was part of the X-Men, even though it was kind of obvious. So that made it pretty cool. I'm trying to look, see if there's anything else. I have to go back to my Facebook, so I apologize about that. I didn't really want to do something in some ways, but then when I watched this movie and I heard some of this goofy crap in that movie of, what did I just mention? God, it's 4:30 already. It's going to be on 5 o'clock, but it's not going to keep me up late. Trust me, I'm already pretty much done. When I wrap up, I'm going to wrap up tonight and put it up online. So, not that you really can care, because all you're going to hear is Walter from when it is put up. So, why am I saying that? I have no clue. But yeah, that movie of Poultrygeist. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of bleed through very quickly tonight on some of my... Oh, I didn't even know how my volume on. Interesting stories, to say the least, from Facebook. So let me just do something real quick. Let's see. Share. Anyway, not important. But yeah, I had some interesting stuff up tonight, and that I always do. I try to make sure I can get things that people are fine. Hey, this is pretty cool kind of deal. I try to shoot for that. Or just like, God, this guy's really fucking bizarre. Which, that's not that hard, actually. So let me see what I had up. Let me go back. One thing that was really interesting, I had to put this up. It says, remember this. I don't know who I, had gotten it from. But it was an old Reese's Pieces commercial from back when I was a kid. And I probably remember it, but one of the characters was Ralph Malph. The actor who was Ralph Malph in Happy Days is in one of those Reese's Pieces commercials where the one guy's holding, you probably don't remember this unless you're like my age, but the one guy's holding a candy bar and the other guy's holding a thing of peanut butter, and you dip the guy bumps into the other guy. He's not paying attention. My mic just tilted to the wrong direction. And he dips his chocolate bar into the peanut butter. It's like, why? Oh my God, we never thought of this. Having chocolate and peanut butter together, that tastes really good. So they were big back in the day when I was a kid, those commercials. So somebody actually wrote because I post on my Facebook page, this one girl is a friend of mine. She said, that's too funny. Who walks down the street eating a jar of peanut butter and, peanut butter and holding a candy bar and just so happen to be banging each other? Yeah, they were pretty bizarre, those commercials, but that was funny. Anyway, that was cool because of the guy who played Ralph Malph was in there, Potsy, whatever. No, Potsy was different, Ralph Malph. So there was that. And I saw this article. I actually didn't read it, but I saw it. It was like, this is too funny. I have to put it on my Facebook page. From Fox 29, CMPD, dad puts daughter in a daughter's abusive boyfriend in a chokehold, and he ends up killing the kid, the boyfriend. So I thought that was pretty funny. Charlotte, North Carolina, a local male, is now in jail Wednesday after police say he put his daughter's abusive boyfriend in a chokehold once again, and he ended up killing the guy. I don't know how old the guy was, actually. Well, he wasn't a kid then. Identified as 36-year-old Patrick Creek. So the boyfriend was 36 years old. How old was the girl then? I'm trying to see. Well, the father was 59, so maybe the girl was about like in her 30s too. That's what you call a devoted father, though, because he didn't. I guess he couldn't take up with the shit of his daughter being abused by her boyfriend, so he ends up killing the guy. Now, they only show a mugshot of a guy, so I don't even know who this, but the guy that he killed was named Patrick Creek. I wonder if I can just put that in, find maybe a picture of Patrick Creek. Well, we know he's 36. I don't know how much further I need to go. But, yeah, that's on my Facebook page. I'm not going to dig because it's like going on 5 o'clock by the time I'm done. It's funny, but I guess it's still under investigation, so they have a phone number for any tips. It's like, well, you caught the guy. That this man was defending his daughter, and he ended up killing her boyfriend, who's now deceased. The boyfriend is. So anyway, that was pretty entertaining. I thought it was hilarious. So another one, somebody put up something called Best Humor. It was a video. It's a comedy video from a link called I borrowed it from Best or shared it from Best Humor, and it was for this. I swear to God, I got to look for the name of this. It's a Joe commercial for something called it won't let me pause it right. It's a joke for men. It's an exercise thing for men, and it looks like an elastic penis, and it's called Tug Toner. So it's one of those comedy things. What it is, it's like it's supposed to be an exercise thing for men to work out, but basically what it is, you put it between your legs and you yank on it, so you get the drift. And they're showing these derogatory things with these guys. And it basically looks like the guy's jerking off, but it's supposed to be an exercise machine. And I saw it. It was like, I sent it to like 2 friends because I thought it was freaking hilarious. But they're even showing a diagram. It looks like the guy's like, basically coming. And he said, you can use it even your leisure time or something. It looks like the guy's jerking off watching TV or jerking off doing other things. And it says, order now, only $39.95. Second one is free. Tug Toner. I mean, it was the funniest thing I've saw in a long time. So I put that up on my Facebook page too. You probably can find it on YouTube. Another thing was, I remember hearing a story a while back, but now it got posted. I guess it's gotten further with this 15-year-old girl stuck a kitten in the microwave. Now, I think the girl was just trying to be a smart aleck because the kitten seemed like she was okay. The kitten was okay, and it was taken out of the custody of this 15-year-old girl because the reason it became a big deal is the girl actually put it on YouTube, the video of her putting the kitten in like a newborn practically in a microwave. So it really upset me at first, but if the kitten was okay, I think the girl was just trying to be a smart aleck. She might even have closed the door on the cat, but that's still considered cruelty to animals, obviously. So the girl is now got like her parents, because she's only 15, has got a hefty fine against her. And she's serving community service time because she's underage. She's a minor. So, I mean, at first I thought that the girl actually cooked the poor cat, but she did not go that far. I think she was just trying to, be funny, and unfortunately it backfired because she put it online too. So that was pretty interesting. It was called, it just says teen threatens them, teens film themselves microwaving cat, pays the price. But she really did not cook the cat, because trust me, that cooked cat was put in the microwave with it turned on. That cat would not be alive now, and it's going to be ready to be put up in adoption soon. So again, that just goes to show you that the kids didn't go that far. They weren't that dumb, these girls. But now they are going to get in a lot of trouble for doing that. It says these teenager girls thought it would be absolutely hilarious to microwave a cat. Guess what the punishment is? But they really did not. I mean, either way, it's not even funny to pretend. But the bottom line is, I don't think they had any intentions to cook the cat. They were just trying to make something stupid, which actually ended up getting them a lot of trouble. So, I don't think the girls' intentions were seriously to cook the cat. I hope not. But another one that was actually a funny video I found off somebody, I couldn't believe it. It was from Live Leak. And actually, it says I shared it from Disturbing Videos. And it's this woman who's like, she was caught on a surveillance camera where she's like torturing a cat outside, like just a cat walking outside her front of her house. She's like kicking the cat. So the cat had enough, I guess, after so long. It got caught on the surveillance camera, and the cat literally, it looks like something from a bad horror movie. The cat literally then jumps the lady, like jumps on her head and starts attacking the woman. So I thought it was pretty funny. So I put it up because this cat literally jumped this woman like head on. Not even joking. She jumped a cat, hit it head on. So I thought it was pretty hilarious. I'm trying to see if there's anything else worth discussing, because it is, again, my shows never last less than an hour, it seems like, and no matter how hard I try. So, I'm trying to get this one video, though. Oh, here we go. What I was looking for. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'll always find something pretty much entertaining, to say the least, to talk about. So, let's see. That one with the cat was pretty entertaining. This one was kind of weird, this story, and it was from the Daily Mail. I didn't know where it came from. This woman got raped or killed or something in front of her boyfriend. So it says Australian woman was bound, gagged, and raped in front of her boyfriend. Yeah, I got that right. In their Samoan hotel room by a man who broke in and threatened them with a pair of scissors. So, yeah, this was actually definitely a disturbing story. I saw it and was like, yeah, I got to post it and maybe talk about it, which I am now. It looks like Tal Manson couple were allegedly attacked and robbed in Samoa last year. Angie Jackson says she was raped in front of her partner, Tommy Williams. The alleged attacker broke in the hotel room and, armed with scissors, Miss Jackson said he bound and gagged her throughout the assault. The couple now seeking donations to go to testify in the man's trial in June. That's got to be horrific, though. You're like at a hotel with like your boyfriend or girlfriend, and somebody like randomly comes in and just attacks you and rapes you in front of your partner's, in front of your partner. That's got to be pretty. I'm pretty heartless, but that even is kind of quite disturbing for me, even to think about. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't know what else to say about that. That was pretty bad. Hey, I put this up, and I really appreciated it. I thought it was really cool, but it says Avengers star visits Grossmount High School student. Now, this poor kid's he's a cancer victim. So who comes to this kid's door? The kid must be ecstatic. It's Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Gwyneth Paltrow. And it got on the news, but they actually came to this kid's house who's suffering a battle in cancer right now. This poor kid. It says lived up to their promise and surprised the student from El Cajun? Is that? I don't know where that is. I'm probably saying it wrong, obviously. But that was like so freaking cool. I'm going to see if I can find it, because I'm going to guess Texas. is my guess. I don't know. So I'll put it in. Because, it was like El Paso and stuff. Yeah, actually it's in California, so it wasn't too far for them to drive. But that was really cool, the bottom line. They actually went out to, give this kid a visit, because this kid was a big fan of those Avenger movies and stuff up to this point. He's a young kid, too. By the way, I'm not a big fan of this, so I didn't have a very nice thing to say. But for those who are interested, a friend sent it to me as a joke because he would piss me off. It's win dinner with Hillary. Or fly one lucky supporter and a friend out to the campaign trail to have dinner with Hillary. Enter for a chance to win. It was like, yeah, that would be one of those I don't give a flying fuck for. And I told you about this thing somebody made, like literally a flying fuck. The word fuck with a propeller on top. I thought that was funny. That's how much I would care about that dinner, by the way. Another thing a friend sent me was really, really, really funny. Somebody played a practical joke with wearing, like, in a construction site, a bear costume and scaring the shit out of construction workers, like pretending he's a bear in a bear costume. Full garb, it was pretty funny. Yeah, I always find these interesting stories. Now, here's one from Rush Limbaugh I saw. I didn't know, but it was from Young Conservatives. This was pretty scary. Breaking news, 2 jets crash off the coast of North Carolina. 4 people recovered and hospitalized. So this might be one of those attacks, meaning terrorist attacks. I don't know. It says 2 U.S. Navy FA-18s have crashed into Atlantic Ocean, and their pilots are being flown to the hospital, according to Virginia pilot citing the U.S. Coast Guards. So maybe it isn't. I apologize. I thought it might have been. Since it is so late, it was from Young Conservatives. Just look for a story that says break-in, 2 jets crash off the coast of North Carolina. 4 people recovered and hospitalized. That's the name of the title, by the way, if you want to read it. Or just look on Walter's Facebook page. You will find it there. Wow, I really closed everything down, or once, just being temperamental at this time of night. Time of the morning, I should say. Alrighty. Didn't mean to have that quiet thing. Really like this one girl, Renee. She puts up some really cool horror stuff, so I'm stealing more from her right now. She actually went on Instagram, and I'm going to see if she'll add me. She puts up the coolest stuff, pictures and all. Excuse me. I'm hoping this is the last of my stories for tonight, because I really just want to wrap this up at going on 5. Well, here's one I wanted to read, actually. I thought this was interesting, too. Gruesome for those people who I spit on your grave, I assume. But it says, judge offers to pay fine for teen who stabbed her abuser. This girl was sexually assaulted by a pedophile, and, she got the upper hand, so to speak. It says, a judge offered to pay. Now, this is actually really funny. A teenager's fine after learning she had stabbed the man who had molested her during her childhood. The 15-year-old girl was 8 when she was sexually abused. Her 56-year-old abuser managed to escape jail time in 2009 after being found guilty of sexually assaulting a girl when she was a minor. As punishment, the pedophile was given a community order with supervision rather than prison sentence, reports The Mirror. The victim, then 14, felt the justice system had failed her. As her abuser walked free from the court, he started harassing and bullying her. In November 2015, the teen paid a visit to the man's home and told him on his doorstep, "I'm going to kill you," before stabbing him in the chest in front of his family. Prosecuting attorney Heather Gilmore said the knife cut through the man's chest cavity and sliced the artery that supplied blood from the right ventricle of his heart. The man was saved by paramedics, though, and went on to recover. After the incident, the girl said to her aunt, "Tell my mom I love her," before turning herself into the police station in Bradford, West Yorkshire. She told authorities, "I've killed someone," and admitted to stabbing, describing the man as a pedophile. The teen was arrested for attempted murder and sentenced to 2 years in youth rehabilitation for attempt of wounding with the intent to cause great bodily harm, according to the Metro. Judge Jonathan Dorham Hall refused to enforce the mandatory victims surcharge. And, quote, "It would be a disgrace to send a survivor like you to prison," he told the girl in court. The judge said that the pedophile destroyed the girl's life, which provoked him to spare her harsh punishment. The judge meaning that. So it says, "If anyone tries to force you, I will pay it myself," he told the girl. So basically this judge paid for this girl's, so she would stay out of jail and everything like that for trying attempted murder, where the person she was trying to murder was a guy who was a pedophile who sexually assaulted her at 8 years old. Hall wished the teen good luck and said of the abuser, he was treated by the courts with hindsight, somewhat, I don't even know what that says, lengthy or something, but things have changed. So basically that's what you would definitely, without a doubt, that's called poetic justice. This guy who, I say a lot of stuff, but my problem is I do have problems with pedophiles, but the problem is it depends if it's a man or a woman who's being the pedophile. Women generally get away with it more often and more so than men do. But in either case, it's still wrong. So anyway, it doesn't dismiss the fact when somebody molests a child, or assaults somebody without that person's consent. So, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman in this case, but the person who was the victim truly finally got the upper hand at the very end. That's what's very important to me. That's more important than anything else. The fact that the person who was, truly did not get justice served properly in their favor did, basically, did a pretty much a Judge Dredd or a Punisher on their own. So anyway, I keep on seeing more stories I'd love to read, so I might just read the top of the stories, the captions. So I'm going to go through these really quick. Spring Valley Peepin' Tom took pics of naked couples, police say. This was in Fort Lee, New Jersey. A Spring Valley beverage driver opened Fort Lee hotel room windows, and took cell phone photos of naked couples having sex. So that was a story a friend sent me, my friend Todd. There's a story where it says a swarm of bees follows woman's car for 2 days to rescue the queen bee. This is no joke. It was in the New York Daily Times. That's pretty interesting, but quite disgusting. Another one sent from my friend Todd. A man struggled to remove a python's jaws from his penis for 30 minutes. This is no joke either. Python slithers up the toilet, latches onto the man's penis. A Thai man is recovering from the bloody encounter with a 10-foot python that slithered through the plumbing and latched its jaws on this man's penis. I would never have that fucking problem because the snake would have a hard time latching onto what I have down there. It would be like impossible. So anyway, there was that. Another story is, it's kind of funny. It was sent to me in a private message, but you know me, I don't give a fuck. It was actually in the New York Daily News, and it is very racist. I'll let you know right now, but it was a commercial from in in China. And it says, racist ad showing African American Asian man is, how can an Asian man from a black man from Asia be African American? Because they have to like put American after it now. So anyway, Asian man is Aaron in China. A new advertisement for a laundry detergent company in China is turning heads for its blatant racism. What it does is there's a black guy who's all dirty and has paint on his face. And it's supposed to be this Asian girl's boyfriend, but what it is, they were insinuating that the guy was dirty, like his skin is dirty because he's black. So that's what it is. It is very, I'm going to let you know, it's very racist. So she shoves the guy, he's trying to kiss her, into her laundry machine. Her laundry machine thing. Puts the new soap in there, washes the man, and he comes out like a clean Asian man. So, yeah, you can't get any more racist than that. So Asia gets away with a lot of stuff that actually anywhere else in the globe would just be like, are you really doing this? Because years ago, China or there was a parody for a pilot show called Tokyo Breakfast, where that was very racist as well. And it was a comedy. It was supposed to be aired in China or Tokyo, I guess, called Tokyo Breakfast, but it got shot down real quick because it got kind of redundant. But it was very, very racist. I don't know what it is about the Asian people, but they're probably more racist than anybody else that you could actually possibly find. I'm not even joking. Anyway, one from the Daily Mail was sent from my friend Todd. This is no joke. I showed it. The woman saw it that I work with, the friend that I have from work, and she says, "What is that?" And it's here's unborn twin had hair, legs, and genitals. It was like I joked to the friend I put down. Let me see what I wrote. I basically said I'll take the genitals because I don't have any. So anyway, it says teenager has his unborn twin removed from his stomach after 15 years. This was in a different country. So, yeah, I think that was like the last one that was the most interesting thing I could find. I mean, I have other stories, but nothing that's worth actually reading. So I'm going to leave it go at that at, literally 5 o'clock at this point, just to let you know. Hope you enjoyed my show. I am signing off for now. And guess what? Another hour and a half show. I don't know how I do this. It's actually shy of an hour and a half. It's an hour and 22 minutes. But still, I actually am able to make an hour and a half show out of tonight. I don't know how I did that. So once again, folks from work, folks from other places, folks from other countries, actually, because I've been getting a lot of people from different countries. I'm trying to look again. So I will get that hour and a half in. Why isn't Spreaker coming up? I put Spreaker. Makes it really difficult because it looks like speaker. Come on, make this quick. I don't care at this point anymore. And my mic's actually coming undone off the table. And again, I thank the people who listen to me. I actually got female listeners. Finally, it's taken long enough. And it's actually showing up on my stats. It says 2.2%. It's nothing spectacular, but between the ages of 35 and 44, 26.7% female population that listens to me. That's more than I've ever gotten before. So anyway, at this moment, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different countries that are listening to me. Obviously, United States. I hope that's a fact. France, Sweden, Mexico, Poland, Croatia, still Vietnam, and the UK. The areas in the U.S., it doesn't show me the other countries where anybody could be listening to me from. But in the U.S., it's Coatesville, Pennsylvania, Woodbridge, New Jersey, Philadelphia, PA, Mountain View, California, Telford, PA, Montgomery County, PA, Blairstown, New Jersey has been sticking in there. Muncie, PA, my friend Todd, thank you so much. Glen Olden, PA, in New York City, I actually have listeners up there too. So I'm really pleased to say that. So thank you once again. This is Walter from iWalter. It is almost an hour and a half. good enough for me at this point. So thanks so much for listening to me. And if you find what I talk about remotely interesting for some stupid reason, get other people to listen in. Get them on board with me. Thanks again. I am signing off for now for a Friday morning, which I didn't expect to stay up this late, but I did anyway. All right, folks, have a good morning.